Hi, my name is Joanna Whitney. I am an intuitive artist and a student of natural law, and we're reading The Different Drum right now. The reason why we're reading this book is because it has some really great insights into how to create true community. We have to have true community before we can practice formal consensus. And I didn't realize that until I realized that, well, it stemmed from, starting a in-person group, realizing that we have so much trauma that we have to overcome in order to be able to be fully present and fully ourselves in person and stop relegating the shadow into the online world. So we started reading this book, and I'm on page 65, and I'm just going to read and comment on my experience. So I left off on page 65 on contemplation. Okay. Among the reasons that a community is humble and hence realistic is that it is contemplative. It examines itself. It is self-aware. It knows itself. Know thyself is a sure rule for humility. So interestingly, the group that I'm in that's meeting in person has decided to use nonviolent communication. And we just decided to try it out this past week using a cheat sheet. I bought the book. It's in the mail. I'm going to read it. And we also found a bi-monthly practice group in Boulder that we can go and practice at this church for $10 a session. And I'll post all that in the bottom links. So I personally have my own way of doing this. It's a Rosicrucian recipe that I was given. And what I do when I get, when I feel internally uncomfortable is I review the situation with another person. I ask myself where I am selfish, what I want in the situation, where I'm dishonest, where I'm playing God, what I'm trying to control, or where I'm lying by omission or commission, where I am self-seeking, meaning that I'm trying to manipulate matters to get my way, and what I'm afraid of. What I'm afraid of losing, not getting what I want, or losing what I have. I look at that, and then once I've done that, I say a prayer for those to be removed, and I try to help somebody. And what that does is it makes it clear to me, like it clears away all the emotional stuff. I see where my emotions, I acknowledge my emotions, and then I can see what's really going on in the situation. And then I see whether I've caused harm or whether I need to ask someone for something. But then it'll at least be cleared from my judgments. I can probably make a request cleared from my judgments after I've used that recipe. And I have a few others that I do, like I do that during the day when I'm, out and about in the world. Helping someone is a guarantee that spiritually everything's going to get integrated into my being, and then I'll be put in a better position where I'm not trying to get something for myself. At night I look at what I did during the day. Did I cause harm? And then in the morning, I set myself up with a prayer and asking God to make me be available to be helpful to others. So this is how I do it. But we agreed to NVC, which is slightly different. But I'm definitely committed to learning that. So me personally, like I've been doing this recipe, these 3 recipes for about 20 years, and it does help me to stay neutral in all situations. Now, I don't do it perfectly, I don't do it perfectly. But what I have noticed, again, I've already mentioned this a few times, but what I've been noticing is that there's quite a few people online in our groups who are one person online, and then they're a totally different person in person. And I try to be the same person online as I am in person. And because I really am truly committed to a community that will be strong in whatever happens. Like, let's say the electricity gets unplugged and we don't have any more internet, and suddenly the shadow is like unintegrated in so many people. Then what? You know, I would really rather see people's shadow in person and be able to deal with it, like, go through the pain of it, of the explosion and the shrapnel in person, than deal with it once something really bad has happened. I mean, right now we have a lull in what they're doing to us. So we have like this great opportunity to really get down to the nitty-gritty and really find out who we are. But what I'm seeing some really crazy crap go on in our community. It's really unbelievable to me. In a way, it's like, I heard this one time, you can't save your ass and your face at the same time. And I'm seeing like a lot of attempts to save our face. And I'm sure it's extreme fear of feeling your feelings. I mean, I think we've been so dissociated from our true feelings for so long. It's very scary to feel our feelings. But like, the things we do to each other. Something happened to me this week where someone I thought I knew really well, like, beat me up with a bat. They like psychically online, they beat me up with the bat. I really couldn't believe this was going on. Like, and I'm not going to get specific about it because, it's not resolved, but I just could not believe it, because this person actually, like, I have been observing that they act totally differently online than they do in person. And I don't see them that often. And we used to talk on the phone, but we don't really talk on the phone that much. And now it seems like we're only talking on various electronic methods. And I'm just not willing to do that anymore. I'm not doing it. If that person values our friendship, we will have to talk in person. But I don't think they do value our friendship because of how they beat me up online this week. So, it's very disturbing to think you have friends that you're close with, and then to suddenly have it just devolve into Neanderthal behavior. And I'm just not willing to do it. Like, I'm like, nope, all my relationships are going to be in person. And I'm just going to pretty much try to ignore everything that happens online. But sometimes situations merge with the in-person when you have a cell phone or something like that. That's unfortunate. I did finally this week, due to like bizarre occurrences, I discovered how to exit a group text. That is possible to do that, which I've never known how to do that. And I just, out of desperation this week, because I was being beaten up with a bat, I had to go on YouTube and find out how to turn off being a part of a group text. So that's where like my phone and the internet merge, my actual in-person life and my internet life merge, has to do with texting. But now I know how to turn it off, and that's good, because I mean, it's been 20 years that I've had, occasionally been bombarded by a group text and not known how to stop it from interfering with my life. So just so people know that that is possible. But yeah, again, it's just shocking to me where we're at. It really is shocking. But we've agreed to use nonviolent communication to be self-reflective in our groups, and I hope that it works. I really do. I'm going to post some links in the bottom of the chat about some local meetup groups that do have a practice group of that, and hopefully we can make it work and make it, if other people really are serious about having true community, if other people are not just interested in spiritual bypass and pretending to want a real community, I think this might actually be the solution for us. The word contemplative has a variety of connotations, most of them center upon awareness. The essential goal of contemplation is increased awareness of the world outside oneself, the world inside oneself, and the relationship between the two. Let me look at that for a second. The world outside oneself, the world inside oneself, and the social media realm, because that's not inside me and it's not outside me. It's like it's a weird new place that we didn't have before. And the relationship between the three. The world outside myself, my inner world, and my social media world, all the relationships between all three of those should be, to me, parallel and transparent within each other, within me. Like, I shouldn't be a different person outside, a different person inside, and a different person online. I should be all the same person. And if I'm not, then I have some work to do. A man who settles for a relatively limited awareness of himself could hardly be called contemplative. It is also questionable whether he could be called psychologically mature or emotionally healthy. Self-examination is the key to insight, which is the key to wisdom. Plato put it most bluntly: the life which is unexamined is not worth living. I would hazard a statement that the globalists are promoting unexamined lives are worth living, and here's how. Like, we're going to just make so many distractions for the unexamined life to just get off on being disassociated and having so many distractions that you never have to be present. The community building process requires self-examination from the beginning. And as the members become thoughtful about themselves, they also learn to become increasingly thoughtful about the group. How are we doing? They begin to ask with greater and greater frequency. Are we still on target? Are we a healthy group, or have we lost the spirit? Have we ever had the spirit? To me, the spirit has become dark and it's online. And then we have like fake spirit in person. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sure I'm offending somebody, because I'm sure I'm offending somebody. But, I mean, I got like royally attacked on a chat in late July, and it never got discussed. And I tried to bring it up in person, and it's still been unaddressed. And it's going to come up again because, like I've said in the past, if rules aren't spelled out, I'm going to probably break them. And even if they are spelled out, like I don't know if I'm going to be able to follow rules of the norm. I mean, I'm just not, I don't think normally. And that is something that came out in the in our discussion this week. I had to recognize I'm probably which they call it neuroatypical. Like, I'm not, my brain does not work the same way most people's brains work. And so I get into a lot of trouble all the time. because of that. Like, I think I'm just walking into a group and the group perceives me jumping into the group into a bucket of red paint and spraying red paint all over them. And I'm like, hi, everybody. And everybody's freaking out because they got red paint on them. That seems to be like my life in a nutshell. And I have no idea what's happening. I have no idea that I'm jumping into red paint, and I have no idea how to stop it. I'm just trying to be friendly, and it doesn't come out that way. So hopefully we're gonna hopefully I can fit in or not. I don't know. You know, maybe I'll always live on the fringe, you know, or I don't know, maybe I'll end up in the woods eating berries and dreading my hair and, you know, starve out there in the woods. Who knows? I don't know. Because I can't seem to act the way that most people act in a group online or offline or whatever, without doing something that pisses everybody off, because I don't know the rules, and I still don't know the rules. So it's interesting. That's where I would say that the spirit has been relegated into, you know, the online, and I'm not really sure that the spirit is in our in-person meetings, except if we just meet for a social hour. But if we need each other, in an emergency, then that's when we're going to find out. That's why my hope would be that we could find out everything before then, you know, right now in the lull while not much is going on. The spirit of community, once achieved, is not then something forever obtained. It is not something that can be bottled or preserved in aspect. It is repeatedly lost. No community can expect to be in perpetual good health. What a genuine community does do, however, because it is contemplative body, is recognize its ill health when it occurs and quickly take appropriate action to heal itself. What would we do as a group? What would be a determinant that we were unhealthy? To me, if we're fighting online, you know, and have no rules, that would show that we are unhealthy, and that we're meeting in person and we act like everything's fine. To me, that's totally insane behavior. And what would be the appropriate action that we would use to heal ourselves? I thought it would be to get together and use nonviolent communication to address the issues, but we didn't really get very far. I didn't feel like, me personally, I didn't feel like the issues got addressed. Maybe other people felt that way, but I felt like they were ignored personally. But I just guess we have more work to do, I would say. Conversely, groups that never learn to be contemplative either do not become community in the first place, or else rapidly and permanently disintegrate. Or maybe they just drag on and they just stay like where there's an online thing that goes on with the attacking going on online, and then they stay together for the social hour, but they're not integrated into actual in-person. Like, you know, I have another group of people that went, like, I guess it was, I can't remember, maybe 2021 or something. They were talking about exit and build, you know, they were talking about getting a piece of property together and building a new community with, you know, housing or whatever on it. And but they never talked about dealing with their communication. And there's nothing more horrifying to me than the idea that I'm going to exit and build with a group of people who are unexamined, and then we get out there together in the middle of nowhere, and we, you know, have this hierarchical communication where we are beating each other up. And it's like, a friend of mine said, you know, and I posted the Jones Plantation by Larken Rose. That's amazing. That's an amazing video about how we're all just house slaves. And that's basically what I would say we're doing right now. Like, the Jones Plantation, like, he made an animation about it, but now there's a movie out about it that he wrote, and it's $10 for the movie. It's like actual humans acting in the movie, but it's based on his book, The Most Dangerous Superstition, which is about authority as being real. And in the Jones Plantation, it's basically a group of people who believe they're free, but who aren't free, and who get beaten every week. Like everybody, they get beaten every week, but they get their food and shelter and their social hour. They get their social needs met, but then they get beaten every week anyway. And so they're so afraid of losing their security that they block out the beatings. That's where I think we're at pretty much, honestly. I'm going to go on. It says a safe place. It is no accident that I relearned the lost art of crying at the age of 36 while I was in a true community setting. Despite this relearning, my early training in rugged individualism was sufficiently effective that even today I can cry in public, and only when I'm in a safe place. One of my joys whenever I return to community is that the gift of tears is returned to me. I am not alone. Once a group has achieved community, the single most common thing members express is, I feel safe here. So that's a good question to ask yourself. Like, are you terrified of expressing real feelings in public, like crying or anger or sadness or fear? Are you afraid of expressing true feelings within the community? There are some people who can cry, like, and then it makes everyone else feel we can live vicariously through them, or it might trigger our own tears, but just being able to cry in public still isn't true community, but it might be the beginning. If we can start to feel comfortable crying and feeling real feelings together as a group, then it's a potential of the future, but we still have a lot of work to do to be able to have that be integrated into all of our relations with each other. It is a rare feeling to feel safe here. Almost all of us have spent nearly all of our lives feeling only partially safe, if at all. Seldom, if ever, have we felt completely free to be ourselves. Seldom, if ever, in any kind of group have we felt wholly accepted and acceptable. Consequently, virtually everyone enters a new group situation with his or her guard up. That guard goes very deep. Even if a conscious attempt is made to be open and vulnerable, there will still be ways in which unconscious defenses remain strong. Moreover, an initial admission of vulnerability is so likely to be met with fear, hostility, or simplistic attempts to heal or convert that all but the most courageous will retreat behind their walls. I think that's a good place to stop, because I'm going to look at the minute that I feel a feeling, what he's saying is people are going to try to heal me or convert me so that I don't have to feel that in public. It's just so uncomfortable to feel anything in public. So my phone's ringing now, so I guess I better get off here now. But we'll start back up again here on page 67 in a safe place next time.